Furthermore, the crop spirit, gentle, superb flavor, found the door of liberation, bestowing rich flavor on all sentient beings, causing them to develop a Buddha body. The crop spirit, pure light of seasonal flowers, found the door of liberation, able to cause all sentient beings to experience great joy and happiness. The crop spirit, physical strength, courage, and health, found the door of liberation, purifying all realms by means of all-round complete teachings. The crop spirit, increasing vitality, found the door of liberation, seeing the boundless mystical powers compassionately used by the Buddha, edifying demonstrations. The crop spirit, everywhere producing roots and fruits, found the door of liberation, everywhere revealing the Buddha's field of blessings and causing seeds planted there not to spoil. The crop spirit, wonderfully adorned circular topknot, found the door of liberation, causing the flower of sentient beings everywhere to bloom. The crop spirit, moistening pure flowers, found the door of liberation, compassionately saving sentient beings and causing them to increase in blessings and virtue. The crop spirit, developing wonderful fragrance, found the door of liberation, extensively demonstrating all methods of enlightening practice. The crop spirit, like by all who see, found the door of liberation, able to cause all sentient beings in the universe to abandon such ills as sloth, anxiety, and to become pure in all ways. The crop spirit, pure light, found the door of liberation, observing the good roots of all sentient beings, explaining the truth to them in appropriate ways, bringing joy and fulfillment to the masses. At that time, the crop spirit, gentle, superb flavor, imbued with the power from the Buddha, looked over all the crop spirits and said in verse, "The Buddha's ocean of unexcelled virtues manifests a lamp which illumines the world, saving and protecting all sentient beings. He gives them all peace, not leaving without one. The Buddha's virtues are boundless. No beings hear them in vain. He causes them to be free from suffering and always happy. This is what seasonal flavors enters into. The powers of the Buddha are all complete. His array of virtues appears in the world, and all sentient beings are harmonized. To this fact, courage power can witness. The Buddha cultivated an ocean of compassion, the heart always as broad as the whole world. Therefore, his spiritual powers are boundless. Increased vitality can see this. Buddha always appears throughout the world. None of his methods are employed in vain, clearing away beings, delusions, and torments. This is the liberation of universal producer. Buddha is the great ocean of knowledge in the world, emanating pure light which reaches everywhere, whence is born all great faith and resolution. Thus can adorned topknot clearly enter. Buddha, observing the world, conceives kind compassion, appearing in order to aid sentient beings, showing them the supreme way of peace and joy. This is the liberation of pure flowers. The pure practices cultivated by Buddha are fully expounded under the tree of enlightenment, thus edifying everyone in all quarters. This wonderful fragrance can hear. Buddha, in all worlds, brings freedom from sorrow, creating great joy. All potentials and aspirations he purifies. The spirit pleasing understands this. The Buddha appears in the world, observes the inclination of all beings, and matures them by various means. This is the liberation of pure light. Furthermore, The herb spirit, auspicious, found the door of liberation, observing the mentalities of all sentient beings, and striving to unify them. The herb spirit, sandalwood forest, found the door of liberation, embracing all sentient beings with light and causing those who see it not to waste the experience. The herb spirit, pure light, found the door of liberation, able to annihilate the afflictions of all sentient beings by pure techniques. The herb spirit, universal renown, found the door of liberation, able to increase the boundless ocean of good roots by means of great reputation. The herb spirit, radiant pores, found the door of liberation, hurrying to all sites of illness with the banner of great compassion. The herb spirit, darkness destroying purifier, found the door of liberation, able to cure all blind sentient beings and cause their eye of wisdom to be clear. The herb spirit, roarer, found the door of liberation, able to expound the verbal teaching of the Buddha, explaining the different meanings of all things. The herb spirit, banner of light, outshining the sun, found the door of liberation, able to be the advisor of all sentient beings, causing all who see to produce roots of goodness. The herb spirit, seeing in all directions, found the door of liberation of the mine of pure compassion, able to make beings give rise to faith and resolve by means of appropriate techniques. The herb spirit, everywhere emanating majestic light, found the door of liberation, causing beings to remember Buddha, thereby eliminating their sickness. At that time, the herb spirit, auspicious, imbued with the power from the Buddha, looked over all the herb spirits and said, "The Buddha's knowledge is inconceivable. He knows the minds of all sentient beings, and by the power of various techniques, destroys their delusions and infinite pains. The great hero's skills cannot be measured. Nothing he does is ever in vain, unfailingly causing the suffering of beings to vanish. Sandalwood Forest can understand this. Observe the Buddha's teaching like so. He practiced for innumerable aeons, and has no attachment to anything. This is the entry of pure light. A Buddha is hard to meet in a million ages. If any can see one or hear one's name, it will unfailingly bring benefit. This is the understanding of universal renown. Each of the Buddha's hair pores emits light annulling distress, causing worldly afflictions to end. This is the entry of radiant pores. All sentient beings are blinded by ignorance, with an infinite variety of miseries from deluded acts. Buddha clears it all away and opens the radiance of wisdom. This darkness breaker can see. One tone of the Buddha has no limiting measure. It can open up the ocean of all teachings, so that all who hear can comprehend. This is the liberation of great sound. See how the Buddha's knowledge is inconceivable, appearing in all realms. He saves beings there, able to make those who see follow his teaching. This, outshining the sun, deeply understands. Buddha's ocean of compassionate means is produced to help the world, opening the right path wide to show beings. This seeing in all directions can comprehend. Buddha emits great light all around, illumining in the 10 directions, causing virtue to grow. As the Buddhas remembered, this is the liberation door of majestic light. Furthermore, the forest spirit, spreading flowers like clouds, found the door of liberation, of the repository of the vast, boundless sea of knowledge. The forest spirit, outstanding trunk, unfolding light, found the door of liberation, of great cultivation and universal purification. The forest spirit, bearing branches, emitting radiant light, found the door of liberation, increasing the growth of all sorts of sprouts of pure faith. The forest spirit, auspicious, pure leaves, found the door of liberation, arrayed with all pure virtues. The forest spirit, draped flame treasury, found the door of liberation, of universal wisdom, always viewing the entire cosmos. The forest spirit, pure arrays of light, found the door of liberation, knowing the ocean of all sentient beings' activities, and producing and spreading clouds of teaching. The forest spirit, pleasant thunder, found the door of liberation, enduring all unpleasant sounds, and producing pure sounds. The forest spirit, light and fragrance, all pervading, found the door of liberation, showing the vast realm of practices cultivated and mastered in the past. The forest spirit, light shining far, found the door of liberation, benefiting the world by means of all virtuous qualities. The forest spirit, flowers and fruits, savoring of light, found the door of liberation, able to cause all to see the Buddha appearing in the world, and to always remember with respect, and never forget, and adorn the mine of virtues. At that time, the forest spirit, spreading flowers like clouds, imbued with the power from the Buddha, looked over all the forest spirits and said, "In the past, Buddha cultivated enlightening practices. His virtues and wisdom are thoroughly complete. He has all powers fully in command. Emitting great light, he appears in the world. The aspects of his compassion are as infinite as beings. Buddha purified them all in aeons past, and therefore is able to bring aid to the world. This is the understanding of outstanding trunk. Once sentient beings see the Buddha, he'll plunge them into the ocean of faith, showing to all the enlightening way. This is the liberation of wonderful branches. The virtues amassed in a single pore cannot be told of in an ocean of aeons. The Buddha's techniques are inconceivable. Pure leaves can understand this teaching. I recall the Buddha in the past, made offerings to infinite numbers of Buddhas, his knowledge becoming clear with each. This is what store of flames understands. The ocean of actions of all sentient beings, the Buddha knows in an instant of thought. Such vast, unhindered knowledge, beautiful adornments can begin to realize. Always intoning the Buddha's serene, sublime sound produces incomparable joy everywhere, causing all to awaken according to their understanding and inclination. This is the principle of thunder sounds practice. The Buddha shows great mystic powers, all throughout the 10 directions, causing all his past deeds to be seen. This is where wheel, all-pervading light and fragrance enters. Sentient beings are dishonest and don't practice virtue. Lost and deluded, they sink and flow in birth and death. From them, he clearly opens the path of knowledge. This is seen by subtle light. Buddha, for the sake of beings blocked by habits, appears in the world after millions of aeons, causing them to see always for the rest of time. This is observed by savor of light. Furthermore, the mountain spirit, jewel peak blooming flowers, found the door of liberation, entering the light of absorption in great quiescence. The mountain spirit, flower forest topknot, found the door of liberation, cultivating and collecting good roots of kindness, and developing an inconceivable number of beings to maturity. The mountain spirit, lofty banner, shining everywhere, found the door of liberation, looking into the inclinations of all sentient beings and purifying their senses. The mountain spirit, undefiled jewel topknot, found the door of liberation, of boundless aeons of diligent striving, without becoming weary or remiss. The mountain spirit, light illumining all directions, found the door of liberation, awakening all with lights of infinite qualities. The mountain spirit, light of great power, found the door of liberation, of capability, of self-development, and causing sentient beings to give up deluded behavior. The mountain spirit, awesome light conquering all, found the door of liberation, removing all pains so that none are left. The mountain spirit, light orb of subtle intensity, found the door of liberation, spreading the light of the teachings, showing the virtues of all Buddhas. The mountain spirit, universal eye, clearly see, found the door of liberation, causing all sentient beings to make their roots of goodness grow, even in dreams. The mountain spirit, adamantine eye of mystery, found the door of liberation, bringing forth the great ocean of meaning. At that time, the mountain spirit, blooming flowers all over the earth, imbued with power from the Buddha, surveyed all hosts of mountain spirits and said in verse, "Having cultivated excellent practices without bound, now he has attained mystic powers, also infinite. His gates of teaching are wide open, numerous as atoms, causing all sentient beings to deeply understand and rejoice. His body, adorned in many ways, is omnipresent. The lights from his pores are all pure. With compassionate teaching techniques, he teaches all. Flower Forest Topknot understands this. The Buddha body appears everywhere. It's boundless, filling all worlds in the 10 directions. All faculties pure, a joy to all beholders. This truth high banner can understand. For aeons practicing diligently without flagging, unaffected by worldly things, like empty space, by various means he edifies beings. Realizing this is jewel topknot. Sentient beings blindly enter dangerous paths. Pitying them, Buddha emits shining light, causing all beings thereby to awake. Awesome light, understanding this, rejoices. Extensively cultivating practices in all states of being, he made offerings to innumerable Buddhas, causing beings who saw to make great vows. This great power can clearly enter. Seeing beings' sufferings in transmigration, always enshrouded by barriers of doing, he extinguishes all with the light of wisdom. This is the liberation of conquering all. Each of his pores emits subtle sound, praising the Buddhas in accord with beings' mentalities, pervading all quarters for uncounted ages. This is the door by which Light Orb has entered. Buddha appears throughout the 10 directions, expounding the subtle truth by various means, with an ocean of practices abiding all beings. This is what clearly seeing has understood. The gates of the teaching are boundless as the sea. He expounds it with one voice, making all understand. Preaching, forever, with never an end. Delving into this technique is Diamond Eye. Furthermore, the Earth Spirit, flower of universal virtue, found the door of liberation, constantly watching all sentient beings with an attitude of kindness and compassion. The Earth Spirit, adornment of stable blessings, found the door of liberation, manifesting the power of blessings and virtues of all sentient beings. The Earth Spirit, beautiful flower, adorned tree, found the door of liberation, entering into all things and producing adornment for all Buddha fields. The Earth Spirit, universal distribution of treasures, found the door of liberation, cultivating and producing various states of meditation, and causing sentient beings to get rid of obstructing defilements. The Earth Spirit, pure eye observing the season, found the door of liberation, causing all beings to sport happily. The Earth Spirit, beautiful golden eyes, found the door of liberation, manifesting all pure bodies and harmonizing sentient beings. The Earth Spirit, fragrant hair, emitting light, found the door of liberation of great power, comprehending the ocean of virtues of all Buddhas. The Earth Spirit, silent, pleasing sound, found the door of liberation, holding the ocean of speech sounds of all sentient beings. The Earth Spirit, curled topknot of beautiful flowers, found the door of liberation, of the undefiled nature pervading all Buddha fields. The Earth Spirit, indestructible, all-sustainer, found the door of liberation, revealing all that is contained in the cycles of teachings of all Buddhas. At that time, the Earth Spirit, pure flower of universal virtue, imbued with the power from the Buddha, looked over all the Earth Spirits and said, "The doors of compassion opened by the Buddha in every moment in the past cannot be all told of." He cultivated such practice unceasingly. Therefore he has an indestructible body. The store of blessings of all sentient beings, in all times, as well as enlightening beings, all appear in the Buddha's pores. Adornment of blessings, seeing this, rejoices. His vast state of serene absorption is unborn, imperishable, has no coming or going, yet he purifies lands to show sentient beings. This is the liberation of flowered tree. Buddha cultivated various practices to make sentient beings dissolve all barriers. Universal distributor of treasure, sees this liberation and rejoices. The sphere of the Buddha is boundless. He appears every moment throughout the world. Observing the season with pure eyes, seeing Buddha's realm of action, is joyful. His sublime voice is limitless and inconceivable. He destroys afflictions for all sentient beings. Diamond Eye can realize this. Seeing Buddha's boundless supreme virtues, he appears in disguise in all kinds of forms, all throughout the universe. Fragrant hair emitting light always sees Buddha, thus teaching all sentient beings. His sublime voice extends everywhere, explaining for beings in infinite aeons. Pleasing sound, Earth Spirit comprehends this, and, hearing it from the Buddha, is reverently joyful. Buddha's pores emit clouds of fragrant flames, filling the world according to the mentalities of beings. All who see this develop maturity. This is what Flower Swirl observes. Stable and unbreakable as diamond, more unshakable than a polar mountain, the Buddha's body is in this world this way, all sustainer, able to see, gives rise to joy. Furthermore, the city spirit, jewel peak radiance, found the door of liberation, benefiting sentient beings by appropriate means. The city spirit, beautifully adorned palace, found the door of liberation, knowing the faculties of sentient beings, and teaching and maturing them. The city spirit, jewel of pure joy, found the door of liberation, always joyfully causing all sentient beings to receive various blessings. The city spirit, sorrowless purity, found the door of liberation, of the mine, of great compassion, saving those in fear. The city spirit, flower lamp, flame eyes, found the door of liberation, of universally clear great wisdom and knowledge. The city spirit, flame banner, clearly showing, found the door of liberation, appearing everywhere with appropriate means. The city spirit, light of virtue, found the door of liberation, observing all sentient beings, and causing them to cultivate the vast ocean of virtue. The city spirit, body of pure light, found the door of liberation, awakening all sentient beings from the darkness of ignorance. The city spirit, eyes of light, of a mountain of jewels, found the door of liberation, able to pulverize the mountains of obstructions hindering sentient beings by means of great light. At that time the city spirit, jewel peak radiance, imbued with the power from the Buddha, surveyed all the hosts of city spirits and said in verse: "The guide is so inconceivable, with light illuminating the 10 directions. All sentient beings see Buddha before them, teaching and developing countless numbers. The faculties of sentient beings are each different. The Buddha knows them all. The spirit, beautifully adorned palaces, enters this gate of teaching with joy. The Buddha cultivated practices for boundless aeons, maintaining the teachings of the Buddhas of past ages, his mind always happily accepting them. Jewel of joy realizes this way. Buddha, in past, was already able to remove the fears of all sentient beings, and always exercise kindness and compassion toward them. This, the spirit, sorrowless, comprehends with joy. Buddha's knowledge is vast and boundless. Like space, it cannot be measured. Flower eyes, realizing this, is pleased. He can study the Buddha's ineffable wisdom. The Buddha's physical forms are equal to all sentient beings. He causes them to see him according to their inclinations. Flame banner, clearly showing, understands this in his heart, and practices this technique, producing joy. Buddha, cultivated an ocean of myriad blessings, pure, vast, without any bounds. The light of virtue banner, taking this approach, contemplates, comprehends, and is happy in mind. Sentient beings ignorantly wander through various states of existence, like people born blind. After all, they cannot see. Buddha appears in the world to help them. Pure light enters this door. The Buddha's powers are boundless, like clouds covering all the world. He appears, even in dreams, to teach. This is what fragrant banner perceives. Sentient beings are foolish and ignorant, as though blind and deaf. They are shrouded by all kinds of obstructing veils. Buddha's light penetrates them, making them open up. Such is the entryway of Mountain of Jewels.